It's good to be with you again. It's always a joy. So we are kind of winding up our study on Christian worldview. By this time I hope you have a basic understanding of our worldview. Last time we started worldview in conflict. That means everyone is not accepting Christian worldview. There are worldviews that are contrary to Christian worldview. There's totally pagan worldview. So it's good just to evaluate some of the major worldview in contrast to our Christian worldview. You know, we are commanded to demolish the worldviews and philosophies of paganism, you know. We are very clearly commanded to demolish them. But to demolish them, we need to know what they are. In 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 4 through 6, very fundamental passage, we read very often that how the Lord had commanded that we should be pulling down every stronghold that is against the knowledge of Jesus Christ. And then we have to bring everything, you know, under the lens of our Christian worldview. We need to put the lens of Christian worldview and look at them. For that we have not only to demolish, but also we have to build up. This is, you know, this is a great job. This is not an easy job. Indian philosophy and religion boast, you know, much antiquity. The Vedas were written the same time probably the Pentateuch were written, 1500 BC. So they are very old and very philosophical, you know, Vedas, Upanishads, they are all very philosophical. Actually, speaking honestly, Hinduism is what a man could contribute from his side. That's the best. The best of man's contribution is Hinduism. It's a very thought-through philosophy. Of all the philosophies, Hinduism is. It has its own basic precepts and, you know, so it's very consistent as far as its philosophy is concerned. The basic problem is that every presumption upon which it is built is a false presumption. Therefore it crumbles down if you analyze them. That's the problem. It is built upon the sand, but very beautifully built. It cannot stand against the torrential rains and the hurricanes and tornadoes. It cannot, that's the problem. Christianity is the only worldview that is built on the solid rock, the firm foundation of revelation, When any system is not based upon God's revelation, then it has to be based upon man's enlightenment. The question is, who enlightened man? They say that, it's a self-enlightenment through meditations and tapas and all those things, and then they reach God and find out some of the secrets of God. But the secrets of God cannot be found out by man. If they could be found out by man, then it's not any big secret at all, So God has to reveal them. That's unique about Christianity. The Hindu worldview and the Christian worldview are world apart. Indian worldview is humanistic, Vedic, empirical, and monistic and Advaitic, Every one of those statements has its own meaning, but that's what it is. It's basically, that's what it is. There are no absolutes in Indian worldview. God and man are essentially one. They are all one in a sense. Good and bad are relational. Maya is the concept of life. There is nothing absolute. Everything is relative. What is seen today and what is not seen tomorrow. That's the concept of Maya. Second, absolute But Christianity teaches absolutes. Christian worldview is all entirely built upon absolutes of God and God's word. Swami Vivekananda propagated a worldview where all religious essences, basically is the same. Basically, he said all religion. The World Religious Congress held in Chicago, many years back, I don't remember exactly, it's in the 1800s. Swami Vivekananda spoke there, and he was one speaker who got a standing ovation and applause, because he presented, basically that all religions are same. It's only the color different. But that's far from the truth. Maybe all religions are same, but not Christianity. Christianity stands apart. It has nothing in common with. He said that to call man is the greatest sin. That's what he said. To call man a sinner is the greatest sin, because he sees God and man essentially of the same essence. If man is a sinner, then God is a sinner, because they are all monistic, Advaita, basically, in their philosophy. Christian worldview is based on revelation, the Bible. Christ is the incarnated model of the worldview. Apostle Paul is a prototype of the worldview. We mentioned that last week, We really wanted to see what worldview is like. Look at Jesus Christ. He came to this world as a human being. He was born in a very ordinary home. He knew what is poverty, what is hard labor. He worked as a daily wage earner or as a carpenter. His disciples were all fishermen. Not necessarily they were poor people. Many of them were rich people. But however, they were all fishermen, And he knew. He was always associated with basically poor people. He knew what was hunger and thirst and all. But yet, how did he live? He maintained a Christian worldview concerning riches, concerning people, concerning marriage, family, concerning, authority and everything. Jesus Christ has spoken on basically every issue that we need to face, and he has presented a Christian worldview. What he has shown is that consistently you can live according to the Christian worldview. If Christ could live in that world and time, consistently holding those values, we could. The Apostle Paul is a prototype, the first product made from that, type. He was, a perfect model. He had traveled far and wide all the Roman Empire. He has again faced every situations, He was acquainted with authorities. He was acquainted with ordinary people. And yet, as Paul himself has said that, he knew how to be, abound and abased, how to be in plenty and in need, and every situation he knew. He could stay in a 7-star hotel, or he could stay in a, tattugada, eat from a tattugada. He knew both. But yet he never compromised on his worldview. That's very interesting. Never compromised. Paul consistently held the worldview Jesus Christ has. His view on the riches and property, riches on present life, marriage, family, authority, governments and everything. Consistently, Jesus Christ, whatever he taught, this Paul also upheld. In the last 1.5 century, we see a serious drift in the Christian worldview. Our Christian foundations are slowly, overlooked by our philosophers and apologists. We are no more preaching Matthew 6:33. We live like the Gentiles, seeking the things of this world and putting God at the end. Matthew 6:33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of God. The priority for the early Christians, first century Christians, even the anti-Nicene and the post-Nicene Christians, was the kingdom of God. That's why the kingdom of God, the church spread, missions work flourished, Every known world in the Roman Empire became a Christian world, There was no country in the Roman Empire which was still pagan, And they were able to. How could they do it? And they didn't have mission boats to send them. They didn't have missionary aviation fellowship to fly them. They didn't have printing press to print the Bible or the tract societies. They didn't have a missionary board to interview them, train them, send them, finance them. But yet they have done it. The reason is they consistently held on to the Christian worldview. Their priority was right. Their priority was right. Today, we are living in a world where people say that, wrongly they teach people. Like, for example, tent making, the concept of tent making. Many people say that, the best way of working for the Lord is being a tent maker. But is that right? Was Paul working for somebody? Was Paul needed ever to apply for a leave to go to the next city? No, Paul was his own man. What the tent makers today? Tent makers are working for somebody. They cannot move anywhere. They have to get up on casually. They have to Paul went wherever they want, So tent making of Apostles Paul and today's tent making are absolutely nothing in common. But it is used as a excuse, Paul and Timothy, yes, they made tent wherever they went. You ask Paul, what's your job? He will say, I'm a preacher, I'm an apostle. If you ask them, what do you do for your livelihood? Say the Lord supplies. When it is not sufficient, we make some tents and sell it also. But you talk to today's tent makers, ask them, what do you do? They will say, I'm a doctor, or I'm a teacher, I'm a lawyer, whatever may be, They may be an elder in the church, but they will never say, what do you do? I'm an elder, So, self-defeating and, in a sense, self-cheating, actually, So the worldview the early Christians had is quite different from today's. The priority is totally different. So it is, people are, actually cheating themselves. They're deceiving themselves by saying all those things. Yet many organizations, parachurch organizations, will exalt this tent making as the model, if they are only honest to themselves, which of them is doing tent making like Paul did? Who is able to go anywhere in the world, at the commandment of the Lord, just move, pick up and move. Not one of them. So Christians are commanded or stated to be the salt and the light of the world. Matthew 5:13-14. We are to influence the society by our values. But today again, look, people get involved in politics and all that, and civil services. Many people are going for IAS, and I have no problem for believers going for IAS or administrative service, civil service, and all. I'm not saying, but the thing is, they all will be quoting either Daniel or Shadrach or Meshach or or Mordecai or Joseph or Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a governor. But the interesting thing is, when Daniel was a civil service, who was controlling even the empire, What was Daniel doing? How many times King Nebuchadnezzar confessed the God of Daniel is the true God. Anyone who speaks a word against Daniel's God will be cut into pieces, So what those men were doing, Today's civil servants, they absolutely cannot do anything, They cannot do anything. Only on some casual leave or earned leave they can take and do something, and other than that, they cannot influence. Whatever things are going, they themselves may maintain the integrity. I don't question the integrity of their life, but they cannot influence. They cannot correct a minister. They cannot correct, nothing. That cannot. So, we often defeat ourselves. We are the salt and the light. Salt is to influence, to taste. Light is to reveal, to expose. We are not necessarily exposing or tasting the society. Because there is a Christian worker in a big company, as maybe even the general manager of the company, does that mean that there is prayer meeting, every day? The company starts with prayer meeting, or maybe, during the lunch break there is half an hour Bible study, or, what is happening? There's nothing happening. You cannot do anything, actually. Honestly, you cannot do anything. This is all we are saying, because we take some of these statements of the Bible and we don't translate them into actually into our practical life, the others. What we maximum do is we maintain the integrity. We may not take bribery, we may not compromise. That's great. I think that's great. But other than that, we cannot influence the society very much. Very little we can influence the society. There are few, but I'm not saying, but generally. So,
What do you mean by you cannot influence the society?
well, suppose that you are the education secretary of education in Maharashtra. How much influence you will be doing that every worker should be paid decently in private schools? And every employee must be given time for family life, their working hours. Everything has to be honestly done. There will be no bribery, there will be no coercion, there will be no fraud. Very few. You can live an exemplary life basically, but other than that, what the minister, a pagan, and what the political party he represents, their policies will be carried out. Like Daniel or Nehemiah or, Mordecai, that sort of an influence, because there they were living under one man basically, If that one man liked them, they liked them. But here it's not. It's a political party and it's entirely different. Of course, you can try to. You can try to, yes. But that's best you could. There are many IAS officers who are born-again believers, baptized, Yes. But I don't know how much of an impact they have made. How much of an impact, because from the day they came to the service, what differences were made from the time before? That's a question we have to. So, we can pray for and all that. So basically what I say is we can work as an honest worker. We can work as an honest worker. And maybe we can show an example to other people, what we need to be. But how much that example will be accepted today, I know a brother who was joint registrar in the registrar's office, Most of the time he has to ask for a transfer to a department where he doesn't have to deal with people. So most of the time he was an auditor of the cooperative banks or this and that, that sort of thing. In the registration department he was not allowed because everybody under him was taking bribery, And they all told that, but you don't want money, don't interfere. Otherwise, And, he was supposed to do things for the minister and everything. A share has to go there. So if he refuses to do that, even if he doesn't want it, that share has to be given there. So he himself always requests to give me a transfer to a place where I don't have to deal with human beings. Everybody knew that he is honest, very honest. Everybody will say, oh, he's a very honest man. But what could he do? What could he do?
What such people should have done?
Well, they have done what they could. They could not basically do very much to change the system. The system is corrupt. Even a top officer, a very clean minister coming, he cannot change. He cannot change. The ministers, first term somehow he will manage, but the second term he start taking, or his people will taking bribery and all that. The pressures of the society is like that. The society is tuned to do anything, And that's a problem. You go anywhere, you wanted to get your things done, you have to pay something. If you don't want to pay, you don't have to, but then your thing will not be done. It will take many, many months or weeks, and people are not willing or patient to do that because your time is also precious, and maybe you need this certificate for your child to give to the college for exam, and you cannot let 1 year suffer and all those. So what will you do? Ultimately then you go and get it. This is the sort of things that is happening, It's much more easier for anybody to say that, okay, you should have let your child 1 year go. It's easy, but it's not very easy to be doing that way because nobody wants to see their child's 1 year. In year go. This is a sort of system, there is a system that is perishing, that's a bad system.
I was told that in one electricity office, there was a believer who was the head of the office. And in that particular circle, that was the only one office which was doing reasonably well as compared to other
offices.
The reason was the person who was heading it.
Yes.
So maybe he didn't make an impact. Maybe whatever was due to the government, he strictly enforced that there is no proliferation of.
Yeah, we could do definitely some things. You could do definitely something, Yes. If the top officer is somebody, he can. But suppose you are a lower employee, what could you do? Even the top officer can do, but he may frequently be transferred. Yes. Especially if you are a senior officer and all, what the ministers will ask you to do, you can refuse to do, but then you have to. Yes. Yeah, this is the problem. Yeah. So this sort of things are there, The problem is also that not only we don't have a Christian worldview, we don't have a Christian lifestyle also. The worldview and lifestyle go together, You look at the Muslims. I don't like the Muslims, to be honest. But one thing I admire about them is that wherever you go in all the world, they have a lifestyle that is Islamic. That we have it. It's not very difficult to find out who is a Muslim. If there is a Muslim, you will find. Yeah. And they have, it's not only in dress, everything, it's in their, in their, basically everything they do. They are Islamic. Yes. And the Hindus have a Hinduistic culture, The Buddhists and Jains, both, everybody has. I think the Christians are the only people, wherever they are, they have a tendency of, adopting the lifestyle of the people. This is the Christians. But the Christians are supposed to be separatist, because we are commanded to be distinct people. We are commanded to be holy and separated. But yet we do that. Wherever people are, they are, whatever style they are living, we live, It's true, Bible does not prescribe a particular dress for Christians and particular food for Christians and all, I admit that. But does it mean that we can adopt anything and everything the world will do? No, we cannot. We are, So we are not demolishing the strong philosophies, secular philosophies of the world, nor are we building up strong Christian bulwarks. We are not doing both. In Acts chapter 17, Paul was speaking at Athens, and he presented the gospel to the Athenians who held a different worldview. But you read through that chapter, you can see how Paul has taken apart the very arguments of the people of Athens. Their worldview was taken into part. He started with a common point of reference to begin his systematic attack against the worldview, the unknown God. He said, I want to talk to you about the unknown God. And then, whatever they believed about, the Athenians, every one of them piece by piece. Ajit Fernando has a book on Paul's sermon on Acts chapter 17, Worldviews. I think that's the name of the book. It's an excellent treatment of it, Probably. World religions, maybe that's Ajit Fernando, yeah. No, all his books are good books actually, but this book is an excellent one, If you can get, it's not very big, maybe some 200 pages, 150 pages maybe, but it's an excellent treatment. In that book he shows how how Paul has attacked the Athenian worldviews and taken them apart, piece by piece, piece by piece. He has. Their concept of God, concept of man, concept of worship, concept of, life, concept of life after, everything he has taken apart and shown them you are foolish, logically and scripturally. And then finally came and put that bomb there, said that there is a day when everything will be judged according to my gospel through Jesus Christ, Yes. So, Paul did it. We could do that. There are basically three worldviews about which all Christians need to know. Because they are the antagonistics to Christian worldviews. They are the three more developed worldviews. Some Christian thinkers objected to exposing Christians to false views, as they think it is unnecessary to have an exposure to what is false. We only need to know the right thing. We automatically will identify the false one if we know the right thing. That is true. But Colossians 2:8 and 2 Corinthians 10:3-5 emphasizes not only knowing our worldview, but also need to know how to demolish the wrong worldviews. Pulling down the strongholds of Satan. How can you pull down the strongholds of Satan unless you know which are the strongholds of Satan? Sometimes, we don't know. Satan's strongholds are right in our backyard. We may not know. Because the Lord Himself said that the Lord said, I will build my church, and the towers of Satan, how is it, Matthew 16:18? The gates of Hades. The gates of Hades. In Malayalam it is not gates, Padala Gopurangal, the towers of Hades shall not overcome, So Satan is really building the towers. Yes. And most every religion, even Christian religions, have these big pinnacles, towers, and Islam has these. They all have the idea of, building up. It's easier to pray to God if, you put the loudspeaker up there, and, I don't know why Christians have to build it up there, Muslims, of course, their concept is wherever the sound of prayer goes, that area is Islamic. That's it. So they built, their mosque close by so that they can claim all. That's there, Prarthana Shabdam Kelkunna Sthalam ellam Islamindeya. That's there. That's their idea. So, one Muslim comes immediately, more people come, and very soon the mosque will come, and very soon another mosque will come, Just like in Arabia, all that you will see, there are these minars, the strong, the minars. That's what they want to see. And from these minars, the sound of Allahu should go. Well,
Is it there in all the countries, all the Muslim countries?
All the Muslim countries, except in countries like America. America, they can build it, but they cannot, put the loudspeaker there and pray. No, nobody can trouble public. No. Yeah, even the Roman Catholics won't have idols by the roadside or anything. They can have it in their church building and
Within the premise.
Within the premises. Yeah. Yes. Colossians 2:8 says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. So we need to beware of those things. What are after the rudiments of the world? What are after the traditions of men? 2 Corinthians, of course, we said it many times, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalt itself against the knowledge of God, and bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. So there are three worldviews. The first one is the Marxist-Leninist worldview. The Marxist-Leninist worldview. We already talked about it in different sections, about economics and other sections we said, but I think we need to point out few more things. Marxism is a well-developed atheistic worldview. It's a well-developed atheistic worldview. Marxists have developed a perspective on each of the 10 disciplines we have covered. Marxists have developed their worldview in depth and have become models for the whole atheistic world. I.P. Pavlov is the outstanding Marxian psychologist in the world. T.D. Lysenko, a leading biologist. Scholarly contributions, Marxism has captured the attention of the world. Marxism has become Christianity's enemy number one, Yes, the psychology and the biology, those two people, they are world-known scholars. Their books are prescribed in universities for psychology and for biology, and it is purely atheistic and evolutionary in hypothesis. Biologist's name is T.D. Lysenko, Lysenko, T.D. Lysenko. I.P. Pavlov and T.D. Lysenko. How subtle and cunning the Marxian world system is realized when we find many so-called Christian leaders have espoused Marxian philosophy as Christian. There are many people say that Marxian philosophy is Christian. They say that, isn't this Christian? Syncretizing Marxism with Christianity is a mission of some of the Christian leaders. The World Council of Churches, for example, WCC, have seen no inconsistency in holding its meeting behind the Iron Curtain before Marxism was disintegrated. Yes. Even some of the bishops of Kerala churches have espoused Marxism, Yes. There was one called Paulus Mar Paulus in Trichur. He passed away. When I was in Trichur, the Marxists there wanted to have a debate. I said yes. We will have a debate. But he backed up actually. I don't know why he backed up. He said he's not available. And the Marxists would discourage it. I told him one thing. Since he is a Christian leader, I will use Bible. We both have to use Bible as the basis. Because I'm debating with the bishop. So that's why I think he backed up. So, the many Christians, yes, it's a shame, I think I mentioned here that many years back when I was in Trichur, we had a series of lectures on different, world views, and I was speaking against about Marxian philosophy, and then I made a statement that in 20 years Marxism in the world will be dying, And there was an editor of a paper from Irinjalakuda, a town in Kerala, and he came to me afterwards and said, Mr. Thomas, I'm so disappointed that you made that statement. You are an educated man, you have a master's degree in political science and all. Then how could you say that in 20 years Marxism will be? I said, watch. Any system that is not founded on firm foundation is supposed to crumble. I can see already these crumbles on the walls of the Iron Curtain, already. And it's amazing that in 20 years, the Russian Marxism was folded up and all the East European countries and gone. And, even in Kerala, Marxism is going down, last election. In India, in the parliament, how many members are there? That's a sad thing, because people have come to know that Marxism has no firm philosophy. It's an imaginary philosophy. It does not take into human nature into consideration, What is human nature? Human nature is very selfish, right? Human nature is selfish. And everybody wants to, gain what he wants. Marxism says no, everything is common and the state controlled. In a system like state control, who will contribute? Nobody wants to, From every man according to his ability to every man according to his need. But who will give according to his ability? And who is satisfied with according to his need? Because government decides what his needs are. Brezhnev needed a car or 100 cars. Sports models and, vintage cars and all Brezhnev had. So who will decide? Did the state decided Brezhnev need 100 cars? Or Brezhnev needs? So they don't take into consideration the human nature. You give 1,000 rupees to 100 people, you come back in 2 months and ask everybody what happened to the money. I tell you that 99 person's 1,000 rupees will be in the hand of the 100th person. Definitely. He will immediately do something whereby the other money will come to. That's the way it is. That's a human nature. That's human nature. Yeah, man is selfish basically. Man will work harder and best when he has the liberty. Man wants freedom. The freedom of work, freedom of earning, freedom of spending and everything. That's the way man is. And so Marxism cannot, because they don't have a base. They don't have a base. Yeah.
How Marxism is different from the socialism that is in China?
What is Marxism? You look at the socialism in China, it's really not socialism either. It's a capitalism, what is in China, under the name Marxism. Because, now private ownership of even property, land is being allowed there. You can have your own account, you can start your own company and everything, And Marxism you cannot. There's no private enterprise, only public enterprises. No private property, it's all nationalized. So in China that's not what is happening. The Chinese knew that, but they wanted the name communism because that's a label they have. Yeah, political, what to use. The only thing in China about communism is that single party rule. That's typically, the Politburo control. You will say that that's the only thing, Even how long that's going to go, you don't know. I'm sure that very soon it will go, the single party system. Once the single party system is gone, communism is completely gone. There's nothing more communism because there are billionaires in China today. Communism does not give any room for billionaires or millionaires. So when people can work and earn and save, and they are having accounts in America and Swiss bank and everywhere, So what is true about communism there, except the one party rule, So the Politburo still have the control, That's only one thing. So other than that, so the Marxist-Leninist view of life, is totally wrong. Some may say, why we worry about this corpse or cadaver? Say the Marxism is a corpse or a cadaver. It's good only for an anatomy lab. The truth is that Marxism as a political system, though failed, in other areas of psychology, sociology, biology, and all these areas, still Marxism has its hold. That's the thing, It still has the hold. You look at China and Cuba, Yes, as I said, in the education system and many of those things, still they have the hold. Yes. Some of the Latin American countries where the so-called liberation theology is in great influence, this worldview is still in force. Believers in Christianity face great opposition in these countries. So they are afraid that we're Christianity, but they cannot stop Christianity, like in Russia, Russians understood that, religion is the greatest motivator for work and for ethics and everything. Russians have made a research study on why America is so prosperous. The answer was religion. That was a religion, Christianity, Christianity, their religion, Because true Christianity teaches labor. No man can eat unless he works. And every man has to produce enough for not only for him but for others also. That's what Christianity teaches. Caring for the orphans and the widows and the pilgrims and the strangers and all these things. That's a basic teaching. 1/3 of a man's income goes to religion, 1/3 goes to for charity, and all over the world, it's a Christian money that is used for charity. Otherwise there is no. Now people, all others come do something on name of charity and all. Otherwise all hospitals and public schools and orphanages, and all these things were started only by Christians. Christians always in the front, because they have that, they believed in human beings. They believed in the dignity of human beings. Therefore they want every human beings to be given an opportunity to live a dignified life, So they believed that, The second reason is the rise of the neo-Marxism. It is pointed out that American universities are the breeding ground for neo-Marxism. There are more than 10,000 Marxist professors in American universities. That book, little book I had, that book tells that there are more than 10,000 Marxist professors in American universities,
Marxist professors?
Yes, Marxist professors who hold Marxian views. Yes. It is pointed out by US News and World Report. One Christian author has pointed out, Georgie and Gare, that in some Midwestern universities more than 90% of the professors are neo-Marxist. Neo-Marxist are the Marxists who do not necessarily believe in their political structure. They believe in liberty, democracy and all. But the economic philosophy and all is the Marxian. So it is an alliance of partly with marriage. They don't accept the Politburo, the control of the state and all that. They don't. But they believe that the Marxian economics and the Marxian biology and Marxian sociology and Marxian all that things. The evolutionary, the dialectical materialism and all that they believe. One author said that the Marxist academics are today's power elite in the universities. Yes. They consistently they wanted to produce people, So they teach in the economics and sociology and psychology and all those things, they teach these things. Every discipline has been affected by the neo-Marxist. It is in the humanities discipline, this evil system has taken roots. What's the result? Yes. You go to any humanities departments of history or, sociology, economics, English literature and all these classes, hours and hours of classes are devoted for lectures on evolution and and Marx and all these things, Yes. They have systematic program to, brainwash the new students into this neo-Marxism and evolution and atheism and all that, There's a university in Indiana state called Ball State University. I studied in Indiana, so a couple of us, we used to go every week to Ball State University for evangelism, The American universities are very open, we can just go into their cafeteria, many cafeterias, you can sit any table that will accommodate 10, 15 people, big tables, if they find a chair, you can just ask them, can I join you? They're friendly people, say, okay, sure. And then, started. So one day I went there and the history professor there he attacked the Bible left and right. Left and right, So the history, I joined a group of students and I started sharing about these things. So they said, are you willing to come to our history classroom? I have a debate with the professor there. I said, sure. It will be a pleasure, So they asked permission, they permit, you can go and sit as long as you don't make any trouble, you can go. So professor said, the students told him that there is a, a seminary student here, he wants to sit at your class, and is it okay? I said, sure. So, he was attacking Jonathan Edwards. That was his subject then. He was attacking the history of the pilgrims. He said Jonathan Edwards was a hypnotist. He was as a magician, he was this and that, and in his preachings thousands of people said to be conviction of sin and falling down and confessing, but actually he was a magician, he was a hypnotist, he was using hypnotism upon people and all these things. I didn't get a chance to say anything. He just keep going and going and going, and then and he opposed Bible. Then he started attacking Bible. Bible is myth, and it's fables and myth, and who will believe Bible and all that. Then coming after some time, he came upon a point about something about a statement. I cannot, something about a statement. He quoted the Bible. Bible, and said that in the last day, doesn't the Bible even say that I will pour out the Spirit in the last day upon all spirits? So I raised my hands and I said, sir, did you say Bible? That's all I asked. I said, did you say Bible? He understood, because for the authority of his statement, he was using Bible. The whole 200 students, the whole of them howled, shame. Professor, class dismissed. He walked away. But he understood that, and he said, doesn't the Bible even say that? Before that he said the Bible is a fable, myth and all, who will believe in this book? Then he quoted the Bible to prove his point. So I simply said, sir, did you say Bible? And the students, and they gave him a difficult time. So he walked away. He said, class dismissed. So these people, there is a collective effort to brainwash every student. Brainwash every student. That's what they wanted, and I think that's happening in most every university, even in India, in Kerala. The biology department and few other department, and even they have everything: the evolution of medicine, the evolution of language, the evolution of culture, the evolution of custom. That's the word they use. Everything you take. What business they have in the 4th grade classes to have the tree, the tree of evolution, what business they have? A 4th grade student needs to be taught that this is how man has evolved. So they deliberately, and Christian teachers will be teaching those things, that's a shame of it, At least they should say that though this nonsense is written in the book, children, that is a lie. You don't believe it, God created man, They should be. But which teacher will say that?
The teacher should believe it.
The teacher should be believed, but apparently they go to church every Sunday and they read the Bible for quite time and all. So in their conscience they must be saying that you are saying a lie to these little minds. You could say that this is not true. Of course, in higher classes of MSc and BSc and all, the teachers have the freedom, to critique all views and present his views and all that, Yes, I think the students should also have the freedom to critique, But we don't do that. That's everywhere it is. So every discipline has been affected by the neo-Marxist, Yes, the result of this neo-Marxist influence has been the culture was, has been the cultural war on the campuses. War is waged over political views, multiculturalism, deconstructionism, postmodernism, so many things, everything there is, these things. Marxian worldview is well and alive on many circles. They breed in education institutions. In India, they wanted to capture people at an early age. The student wing of the Marxist party, the SFI, such as, hold study circles for high school Marxist party, Yes, high school students and all, they catch our young boys and girls. Many Christian students on campuses are captured by these Marxian missionaries. They have study circles, a lot of people go. They are excited about it, because it is something new, something new. We do a poor job to dethrone Marxism, Leninism in our worldviews. So what are we going to do? That's what I'm saying. That we should have study circles too, on campuses. Invite students for you should have debates on Marxism, Leninism, communism and all these things,
In India, people are only interested in Hinduism. I don't think.
Oh, they are not only in Hinduism, they are the educated people. They are interested in all these socio-economic, political viewpoints. I don't think you can even challenge Hinduism. I don't know how much we can do that, That may be very difficult because people are very emotional, not always rational, when you challenge their... some people take that. Today Joel was showing me a lecture by an Islamic leader questioning the Islam. What they are doing is all wrong, attacking Christianity, and this is all wrong, and that was excellently done. And I appreciated that. There are also people even in Islam, he's an Arab, who is questioning it. Very well done, very well done. I thought that he was doing an excellent job.
He's not a Christian. He's not a
Oh, no, he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim. You have it in that one? Yeah. He's an Arab. He's an Arab. The second secular one is called the secular humanistic worldview. Secular humanistic worldview. Secular humanism definitely have a greater control on human mind than Marxism, There's a Christian humanism where we believe in the dignity of man. We believe man is created by God. We believe man is given the charge in this world, to conquer everything. We believe man has the capacity to conquer the world, even conquer the planets, because God has put everything He created under man and said that subdue. We believe in the power of man. We believe in the intellectual capacity of man, the moral capacity of man, the spiritual capacity of man. That's a biblical humanism. But we believe that man has a spirit, a soul and body. And we believe that there is eternality and immortality for man. We believe in the accountability of man. That's all our Christian. But secular humanism is not that. Secular humanism basically believes that man is the highest animal, the highest animal. He's a social animal. He's the highest developed animal, and therefore, he has values and abilities and capacities that are there. So they wanted to make this world more humanistic, more livable for man. It's a peaceful society where man will be happy. Man will be. The happiness of man is the ultimate, For us it is the glory of God, the ultimate value. For them the happiness of man, that is the ultimate value. Humanism basically emphasizes the goodness of man. Religion needs to be kept out of college and universities. Man is able to solve all his problems without God. There is so much good in man that no one needs a savior. Everyone can save himself. Be good and feel happy. That's what it is. Be good and feel happy. Man can solve all his. They don't want God. So the theory came, in the 1960s, 70s came the God-dead theory. Professors at the Chicago University School of Theology, people like Van Buren and what was the other name, Van Schmidt or somebody, they brought forward the theory that God is dead. God is dead. There was no God actually. Man, because he was incapable of facing the problems of life, he developed the idea of a God to support him. But now man has taken over the charge. He doesn't need that imaginary God. So God is dead. God is dead. That's theory. That was, like a wildfire, that theory has spread, everywhere. God is dead. We don't need God anymore. What problem man cannot take care of? They said every man, now with some of this, or some of the advancement of science, like what you call the cellular biology, and molecular biology and all, making advancements, and cloning and so many other things coming in, and they say that it's not very far when we will make man artificially, Well, you can make man artificially, that does not prove that creation is wrong, because creation is out of nothing. It's ex nihilo creation, where was the test tube in which the experiment was done billions of years back? Who was the scientist who controlled that experiment? All these scientists, they say the evolutionistic model, but they have a test tube, they have a laboratory, they have a man behind it, they have basic elements and materials. By biblical creationism is not that. Biblical creation is ex nihilo creation. God created everything out of nothing. That's where it is, the evolutionists always start with the matter is eternal. That's their starting point. Matter is eternal. I said, why you want to start with matter? Why don't we start in the beginning? There was nothing. There was no beginning, no time either, We used to go to the Trichur Engineering College, Government Engineering College, and that's a stronghold of SFI, the Marxist wing of the one, I probably said it here. One day the Marxist students approached, said, we want to debate on creation evolution. I said, that's fine, okay. I and just one other brother, we went there, and next week there were about 25, maybe 20, 25, 30 students there in a room. Okay. So we sat down and we said, what's our formula? We have to have a formula. We must have a starting formula, an understanding. I said, okay, one question from your side, one question from my side. If your question is not answered by me, then I will accept that idea, I'm defeated. If you don't answer my question, you have to accept that you are defeated. That's our. Only one person can talk at a time. Okay. So since you are only two, we are 35 to 25, 30, you start. So my first question was asked, where did matter come from? That was my, my question. Where did matter come from? He said, but you cannot ask that question. I said, why? You cannot ask that question. I said, why? That's our starting point. We are matter. I said, no, it's your starting point. My question is that. Where matter has... Matter, you had to assume matter was always there. I'm not willing to assume. Are you able to answer my question? Well, that we have to assume. I said, why you have to assume? If you can ask me where life has come from, I can ask where matter has come from. Oh no, didn't go anywhere, They just got up and got hold of this one, you're an American spy, CIA agent, and this and that. All kinds of things. I said, this is what debate, evolution, creation. And somebody came and locked the door from outside, put a padlock. So we were there till midnight. We couldn't go out. Then finally somebody came, opened it by midnight, and we went away. But the fundamental question is, where matter has come from. And I told them that, okay, you can never use the word we believe. No, only I can. My answer for everything is I believe, because I'm a believer. I told them that. This is early. Now you have to give scientific answers. I don't need the science because I'm not a scientist, I'm a believer. I can say I believe God made, but you cannot say we believe. So actually they were in a bad shape because but they said that, we believe that matter was always there. I said, you cannot use that word. It's my word. Why you have to use? You have to prove matter was always there. I mean, their assumptions are all foolish assumptions. They don't have a base. So, secular humanists, they propagate all these things, and Yeah. They believe that man is basically good, but man is evolved. But humanism appeals to people. They appeal to people. The secular view of life emphasizes man's worth. Don't call anybody a sinner. Christianity is too dangerous, for it calls man a sinner. Yes, heaven and hell are myths of an old age, they say that. Man just die and go, just like any other animal. Man is only, a bag full of chemicals. I usually ask them that. There's so much suffering in the world. That's a question they will ask. There's so much suffering in the world. I said, that's exactly right. You believe there is an all-powerful God? Yes, I believe in all-powerful God. Then why God makes sufferings? I said, well, that's a very good question. You believe man has a soul? No, we don't believe. You believe in hell and heaven? No, we don't believe. And you believe there is so much suffering? There's so much suffering. And you can put a bomb and kill everybody and avoid the sufferings, right? Oh, that's very easy. After all, there is no soul, no spirit, no heaven, no hell. Death is the end. Why you want to make people suffer? After all, you are a human being. You have the control to kill people. But you are not doing it. You have the ability to destroy all sufferings at 1 minute, the entire sufferings. Nobody will feel any pain, no hell, no nothing, and absolutely, right? Right. Why don't you do it? We don't want to do that. Well, so you don't want to do what you could, but you don't want God to do what He could. That's inconsistency, right? When you could do something to alleviate the pain in your power, well, you don't want to do it, but you want God to do it. Well, this is inconsistency. They're arguing for inconsistent things. Of course, they will say that's not humanism. What is humanism? Humanism is making people to suffer. Is that what humanism is? You must be thankful to Hitler because 60 lakh Jews, their suffering is gone, right? See, only I can say shame on Hitler because I believe in the dignity of man, I believe in eternality of man, immortality of the soul, I believe in heaven, I believe in hell. You don't believe in any of those things. There is no meaning and purpose in suffering. So I don't know why people wanted, to believe in something that has no meaningful end. But it is said that a great majority of born-again students who enter into universities become secular by the time they graduate. They no more read the Bible or attend churches. You be good, do good, help others. That's what humanism teaches. Do good, be good, help others. But how can you be good when you are a sinner? You are trying to do something good, well, that's very good, Yes, lot of people are trying to do many, many good things. So humanism is attracting a lot of people, yes, lot of people. The third worldview, anti-Christian worldview, is the cosmic humanistic worldview. That's the latest. The cosmic humanist worldview. It is also called the New Age movement. NAM, short form. New Age movement. Cosmic humanism is a mixture of neo-paganism and neo-pantheism. You know what pantheism? Pantheism believes everything is God. That's
Is it everything is God or many gods?
No, everything is God. Pan in Greek means all. Yes.
So it's like Hinduism, material.
No, there's panentheism. That is, God is in everything. Panentheism. God is in Thunilum Turumbilum ulla Deivam ennokku parayum. That's panentheism. God is in everything. Pantheism is everything is God. What they basically mean that God and man and the world, created world are everything, It's all matter and spirit, there is no distinction. So everything is God. So that's the idea of idol worship is there. You can take a flower and you can see God in it. You can take a glass of water and keep it there and you can say God, because there. You see yourself in the mirror and you say God. That's the idea. You worshipping God. Namaste. So pantheism is there. Pantheism is very popular. Everything is God. So they worship the tree. Some worship the stone. Some worship this, that, and everything is God for them. You can choose. Panentheism is everything is in God. Everything is in God. So the New Age movement now is basically a combination of this neo-paganism and neo-pantheism. New Age movement has an hatred for dogmas and therefore are difficult to define. They are against anything, you cannot, they don't want dogmas. Dogmas are absolute statements, I believe in God. I believe in triunity of God. I believe in eternal hell. That's all dogmas. You are making categorical statement. They don't want any categorical statement. They don't. They say everything is kind of, wishy-washy. That sort of, that's also right and this is also right. That's what the New Age movement is saying, that there is nothing absolute. What you think is right and what you think is also right. That's also.
The origin of that, is it India or is it the West?
Well, I don't know where it actually originated, but definitely Indians have a contribution to it. Definitely, that is said everywhere. Vishwasninde Rashikim is said everywhere. Yes, this a name is like the Baptist pastor. The Baptist pastor was at home and a man came from his church and said against another brother in the church, member in the church, he has done this, this is wrong, this is that, and the pastor said, you are right, you are absolutely right. Okay, so he went. In few minutes the other man came and he also said what? He did this, and pastor said, you are right, and you are right, and you are right. Everything. And then he also went. So his wife said, how can both be right? You said both right. And pastor said, you are also right. You are also right. So these people are like that, you are right, you are also right. New Age movement, whatever you say is right. This is a movement where you are free to say anything you want. You are free to say anything you want. Yes. Because they believe that truth dwells in individuals and therefore no one could claim a handle for truth. That's what I say. Truth does not rest in community or in church or in society or any institutions or in any book. Truth dwells in the individual man. So if you say 2 plus 2 is 3, that's fine. That's your truth. As long as you are not giving money according to that. That's what the truth is in you. So you can believe basically anything you want. Johanna Michelson has described Nam as the ultimate eclectic religion of self. That's what it is. The ultimate eclectic religion of self. That's it. Johanna Michelson is one of the writers, the Christian writer, said that, it's the ultimate eclectic religion of self.
Second word?
Eclectic religion. Eclectic means, somebody sit down and say nonsense like, anything you wanted to say. You are on a high speed and, you speak about things that have no sense. No sense make to others. It's like saying, this is that, and that is this, and this, and that is that, and this, and that is this. That's what, So what are you talking? I'm saying this is that, and you said that is this, and so this and that is this. Therefore, this and that are the same. Therefore, you keep on saying things like this, everything is that, Somebody said, this is, you can say anything you want, as long as, you can keep on saying anything you want. If somebody asks, the new age movement has come, the new age art, the new age science, the new age morality, the new age religion, everything is new. Somebody come up with something and they say, that's right, that's a good idea, Yeah, there is no absolute, no absolutes.
She mentioned is critically.
Yeah, it's critically. Whatever a person decides to be right is right for him. As long as you are not narrow-minded to say that what the other person believes is wrong. That's the only thing. Whatever you believe is right for you, but don't impose it on others. You have to accept the other person is also right. How can that be? How can it be 8:30 now and 9 o'clock now? The law of non-contradiction says, if a statement is true, the opposite of that statement is wrong. If a statement is true, the opposite of that statement is wrong. How can both be right? How can both be? Sugar is white and sugar is black. How can? Either it is white or black. Or you have to say some sugar is white while some sugar is black. You cannot say, the opposite of that one. You cannot say Jesus Christ is God, but Jesus Christ is not God. You cannot say that. But these people say you can say that, everybody will say that, you have all the religions together, like in Chicago, the World Religious Conference, everybody, there are people who believe that you can kill cow and eat, there are people who believe that, no, you cannot kill cow and eat. Yeah, there are people who say soul is immortal, there are people who say that there is no soul. There are people who say heaven is there, there are people who say there is nothing like heaven. There are people who say God is a person, there are people who say God is only an idea. How can everything be right?
What if a non-believer takes that very point and hits on us saying that how can you say Jesus is God and at the same time say Jesus is man?
But there is no problem. There is no problem on that one, because there is no contradiction. The contradiction comes that Jesus is only God and Jesus is only man. Jesus is God and man. How can God become man? Well, that's no problem because God is all able, right? As long as God's essential values are retained, it's not difficult for God to take a shape for a while, So if you say that Jesus is God, but Jesus is not God, then it is contradiction, Or Jesus is man, but Jesus is no man. That's contradiction. But there is no contradiction, say Jesus is God and Jesus is man, So whatever a person decides to be right is right. How can that be? That's nonsense. So the NAM, the New Age movement, NAM proposes to usher a new age where humanity lives in harmony with self, nature and the cosmos. That's what it says. Humanity lives in harmony with self, nature and the cosmos. It is a form of utopianism, a desire to create a society where there are no dogmas and absolutes. Everything is relative. Everything is relative. How would you like to be in a world like that? There are no absolutes. So you don't know what to believe, and you can believe anything you want. You can believe anything you want. That's the way it is. You can believe anything you want. I think for itself it will be a mental hospital, right? Because you go to mental hospital, some people will say that I'm the President of India. Or the other person say, no, I'm the Prime Minister of India. You can believe anything you want. So it will be a mental hospital. The NAM is fast growing movement. It is estimated by some that there are more than 60 million NAM believers in the USA. That book says there is more than 60 million NAM believers in USA. Those who believe in astrology, reincarnation, etc. are part of the NAM movement. The incarnation and astrology are becoming so popular, Astrology becoming so popular. Yes? People from outside world come here to study astronomy and astrology, and get a PhD in university like Banaras University is offering a PhD, I heard, in astrology. Is astrology a science? Yeah, Jyotisha Shastra, Jyotisha Shastra is astronomy, astrology, Jyotisha Shastra. What is it? People look your hand and say, by looking at the lines or, your handwriting analysis. There are so many. Oh, this is terrible. Yes.
Handwriting analysis, can't that be a little scientific?
No, it's not a scientific thing.
We're studying kind of psychology of the writer.
Yeah, they are all studying under the guise, disguise of that. There's nothing. Your handwriting analysis and all these things it's a little more sophisticated in the way it gives the appearance of a little more, legitimacy than maybe the reading the palm. That's all. Yeah.
So if a Christian is doing that, is he opening the door to...
What else he is doing? What else he is doing? He is doing the same thing. Yes. But people do that. They do that, Occultism, witchcraft, astrology, reincarnation, these have become so popular in Europe and America. Paganism is attempting a resurrection from the dead of its many gods and goddesses of the pre-Christian polytheistic religions of the Celtic, the Norse, the Greek, the Egyptian, the Roman and other Western religions. That's what they do. All these religions were pagan religions before Christianity went there. So all those gods were dead and gone for a long time. Now they wanted to resurrect them and bring them back. So that's what it is. Europe is so notorious for these things, Yes. Demon worship, horror movies and all that, What was the name of that one man who is very popular? Oh, my memory. Who claimed to even, resurrect the dead. No, he's not a Christian. He's in Europe. He was very widely accepted in the 50s and 60s and all. There were, I can't forgotten his name. There are many movies by him. Many movies of the what they call the satanic worship and all that. Like you are a Kadamatta Tachan, that sort of things,
He was living in 1950.
Alfred Hitchcock.
No, I know his name, but it might come to me sometime, A famous character earlier.
Movie character.
No, it's a movie character. The Europe in English and all, lot of these haunted houses and no, not Marilyn Monroe. Well, anyway, you are not going to, because he's no more. He died in the 60s, I think. So he's gone. But some of those movies are still shown in America and all, late night horror movies. No, Dracula is a blood drinking, vampire and all these things. This is a man who was practicing, occultism and all. Then he goes to the nether world and get in contact with Satan, and then by satanic power will do many miracles and all those. He practicing alchemies and trying to raise dead human beings and all that, you know.
Is he the one who wrote the Satanic Bible?
Who is the one?
The one who wrote the Satanic Bible?
No, he's not the one. No, he's not that. This character is very, very famous. Actually, in Europe and all, he's very, very widely known character. I have forgotten his, you know. Lately, I'm not reading any of those people. Yes. So there is an attempt to resurrect the dead Western pagan religions, and it's there, you know. And here also, you know, for example, as I said, that Kadamattathachan, what is it? You know, Kadamattathakathanar Kadagal? You know, yeah, he lived, how far? He lived only 100 years back, Kadamattathakathanar, you know. He was said to have many stories. Kadamattathakathanar, there's a series of cinemas there, and storybooks are there. He said to how he had gone to the nether world of Satan, demons, and all that, you know. And very, very, you know, scary things. But he was practicing exorcism, you know. The demon-possessed people or mentally sick people were brought to him at that time, and he will heal them and all that sort of things. And, you know, even Kadamattathapalli is there, even today, you know. Yes. Starhawk, S-T-A-R-H-A-W-K, Starhawk, you know. Actually, the name is Nee Miriam Simos. She's a witch from California. She has written a book, The Spiritual Dance, a rebirth of the ancient religion of the great goddesses, 1917, that's the name. The Spiritual Dance, a rebirth of the ancient religion of the great goddesses. This book was a bestseller and attracted many to the neo-paganism and pantheism. What is the most popular book today on NAM? Harry Potter. Harry Potter. She is a New Age movement, you know, she is the advocate, the ambassador of, and a lot of Christians also read Harry Potter, you know. Great influence. Many neo-pagan television stars, shows are in popularity, you know. Yes. Charmed, you know, the Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. Some estimated there may be 800,000, you know, this New Age movement adherents in the USA itself. Neo-cosmic, you know, Harry Potter is coming out with the latest book, you know. What is her own biography or something? People are waiting for Harry Potter's books. Yes.
I came across some video or something on YouTube where some pastors' two daughters, they're a believer from a believing church, probably charismatic. They have the so-called gift of exorcism, and most of the demons in America with the youth is Harry Potter character demons. They are the new demons.
Well, there may be some truth. There may be some truth. You know, anyway, Harry Potter is a worldwide, you know, popular writer today, and very young people waiting for Harry Potter. You go anywhere, you know, as soon as the book comes, it's gone. It's gone. So popular, so popular. We need to be aware of what's happening, you know. Our people so brainwashed so easily by Harry Potter because she is such a popular writer. So neo-cosmic movement is the latest popular religion in the world. So how all these perversions came into existence is a question. Yes. Yes. When creationism was rejected by many colleges and universities and espoused evolution, you know, evolutionism slowly began to bring in Marxism, socialism, you know, liberation theology, dialectical materialism, and all these things. One leads to another. One leads to another. You know, it's easy to jump from a 100-story building, but it's not easy to stop at the 99th floor. You know, you can jump from the 100th floor, but it's not easy to stop at the 99th or 98th. In all probability, you will come and fall flat on the ground. That is easy for you to leave your creationism, but it's not easy to stop with that. No, it will go down. Look at Romans chapter 1, where it starts. Where it starts. It's easy to live, my righteous shall live, my just shall live by faith. But where the chapter ends, that chapter comes and ends that you do all kinds of sin, not only doing, but you approve those who do it. Yes. This is what's happening. Yes. With that one came the liberal theology, liberation theology, somehow brought the concept of self-actualization, behaviorism, feminism, pro-choice, Eastern meditations. Then you have your yogas, then the world government. The latest is the world government. A couple of years back I went to Manipur, and one brother has taken me to, said there is a world government headquarters here. I said, okay, that's very interesting. We go there. Want to get an appointment with the head man there. It was not very easy. But we got an appointment, And he had given me even currency, world currency. He gave a sample world currency also for me. And, the leader of that movement died. His body is still kept in a room. They believe he is going to resurrect and be the world king, the leader. So they are waiting. They have an army there, world. But it's a cult, They for goodness sake, they don't have guns. I think they are under observation by the government, but they only have lathis and all. But it's an army cadre, everybody, uniform is army, uniform and all. So it was very interesting that the concept of a world government, so they believe that man, what was his name, I don't forgotten, he's going to resurrect. He's going to resurrect. So the world government idea is there, So all these things, come, one leads to another. What leads to another? The pro-choice, for example, You want a baby or you don't want, it's your choice. You want male or female, it's your choice. You yourself want to remain a man or a woman, your choice. You wanted to put on female clothes or male clothes or unisex, what all. You can go to a regular barber shop or a unisex barber shop. You can come out neither as a man or a woman. Your hair will be fixed very nicely. You have unisex tailors. It doesn't, you can say whether it's a female shirt or a male shirt, you can put on, Everything. Things have changed. It's very difficult for parents now to pick up clothes for, clothes for their children, Because you go into some clothes stores, they sell unisex models, everything. The shoes are more unisex model, clothes are there, pants are there, everything, everything. There was a time when, things were different.
I think in the US, now it's a time you don't even know the male you're addressing to, was he born a male or was he...
Yeah. But here also,
very few people know that.
Yeah, transsex surgeries and all very common now, Yes, it's very common.
Used to be a female. Used to be a male.